Hello, everyone. It's Mr. Kissinger at the Citizenship Academy in Syracuse, New York. This is 5th grade math, module 3, lesson 3. And today we're going to be adding fractions with unlike units using the strategy of creating equivalent fractions. So we're going to be using the area model today to try to add fractions together that don't have the same denominators. Let's move on and take a look at our first problem set here. So our instructions tell us draw a rectangular fraction model to find the sum. Simplify your answer if possible. So I'm going to show you what that rectangular fraction model is going to look like. As you see in letter A, we have 1/2 and 1/3. Those denominators are not the same. So we can't just add our numerators together like we've been doing, because we need to first figure out what our denominator is going to be when we add. So let's draw two rectangles here to start. And if you have a pen and paper, I advise you to follow right along with me. Try to make them about the same size. They should, in theory, be the same size. As long as we're close, we'll get the idea. It is just a model. Now, on the first rectangle, what I'm going to do is I'm going to split that into halves, and I'm going to do that vertically like this. So I have one on the left and one on the right. Now, when I split up my 1/3 rectangle, I'm going to do that, but I'm going to go top to bottom. So I'm going to do horizontal lines, and I'm going to split this into thirds. So when I'm doing these area models, I always want to do my first rectangle. I'm going to make my lines vertical, and my second rectangle, I'll make them horizontal. I'll show you why in just a second. Now, I'm going to shade in my 1/2, and I'm going to shade in my 1/3. Try to do that nice and light so that we can go our next step here. And then I have 1/3 here, so I'm going to shade in this bottom piece here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to split my first rectangle into thirds, and I'm going to split my second rectangle into halves. And we'll see what we get. We did this in a previous lesson as well, where we split our rectangles twice to find equivalent fractions. And so this one needs to be in thirds, this way, and then I'm going to split this one in half vertically. So now we have two rectangles, and each of them are split into 6 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just like when we use this method to find equivalent fractions, we'll do that once again. We'll see that 1/2 actually equals 3/6 in this case. This second rectangle also has 6 pieces, but only 2 are shaded in. So 1/3 is equivalent to 2/6. Now you might start to see why we've done this. We have 2 fractions, and they both have the same denominator. Now that we have common denominators, the same denominator in each fraction, I'm going to do 3/6 plus 2/6. Now I can just add my numerators together and I get 5. My denominator is still 6. And I end up with 5/6. So 1/2 plus 1/3 equals 5/6. We're going to do the same thing for letter B. This time I have 1/3 and 1/5. So I'm going to make my 2 rectangles again. Try your best to make 2 rectangles that are about the same size. We want the whole to be the same amount, the same size. Our first rectangle, we will do vertical lines, and we'll make this into thirds. Do 2 lines there to make 3 separate parts, 1, 2, 3. And this one I have to do fifths, so I have to make 4 lines, make 5 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. Now I need to shade in 1 part on each. So I have 1/3 here, and I have 1/5. Next, I need to partition these rectangles now into my thirds into fifths, and my fifths into thirds. So I'm gonna have to make each one of these into 5 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 4 lines will make 5 parts. And then this one I only have to do 2 lines to make it into thirds. Each one of these parts I want to split into thirds. So now I've taken one hole and I split it into thirds. I split those thirds into fifths, and then I took my other hole, I split it into fifths, and I split my fifths into thirds. So we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And you might start to notice a pattern here. Our denominators, if we multiply 3 times 5, we would get 15, because we're splitting into 3 groups, and we're splitting those groups into five groups each. So we're going to get the product of those 2 denominators, but we won't get into that quite yet. So now I think we found a common denominator. We know 15 is going to be our denominator, because there's 15 pieces in each. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fifteenths. And we have 1, 2, 3 fifteenths. 1/3 is the same as 5 fifteenths. And 1/5 is equivalent to 3 fifteenths. Now we can add. We have 5 fifteenths plus 3 fifteenths. 5 plus 3 is 8. We keep our denominator 15, and we get 8 fifteenths as our sum. All right, so I'll do a couple more here just so we can get in the practice of doing this. You get a chance to do some of these on your own as well. We'll make our 2 rectangles. All right, so we have 1/4 and 1/3. Fourths. Do vertical lines here. And then thirds. The 2 horizontal lines split into thirds. Shade 1 of each of these. And then I'm going to split my fourths into 3 pieces. And I'll split my thirds into 4 pieces. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have 3/12. Here I have 4/12. 3/12 plus 4/12 equals 7/12. All right, now I'm going to try one that looks a little bit different. So let's look at letter F here. You have 2/3 and 2/7. Draw my rectangles. Now you're going to notice this is a little bit different because our numerators, look, they're not ones. They're twos now. But that's not going to really make a difference in our process. We just have to make sure that we show 2/3 and 2/7 instead of 1/3 and 1/7. So we have thirds here, sevenths here. We have to make 6 lines. We have to make them really small. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parts. Now, I have to shade 2 of these thirds instead of just 1. I have to shade 2 of these sevenths. Now I'm going to split my thirds into sevenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 lines to make 7 parts. And then my sevenths I'm going to split into thirds. Let's see how many we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by 3. Well, I know that's just an array. It's 7 by 3. It's 7 times 3, which is 21. We could count them all. We would get 21. We also have 21 here. We have 7 parts this way, and we have 3 that way. We have 21. So we know that's going to be, those are going to be our denominators. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 pieces there. 14 21sts. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 21st. All right. So now we have to add 14 21st plus 6 21st. We're going to get 14 plus 6 is 20. 20 over 21. And that will be our sum. So that is the area model. We are going to move forward in upcoming lessons into using a more standard algorithm for this. But the important thing to take away here is that we have to make sure we have a common denominator. We have to make sure our denominators are the same before we begin to add our fractions. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and look forward to seeing you next time.